Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the works of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. As part of government's mission to enhance the lives of Guyanese, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa led an outreach to Region 6 addressing the concerns of residents there.
I thought that I should come and listen to firsthand and see how we can resolve some of the problems. Now, I want to make it clear from the inception that from central government level we are trying our utmost to see and bring relief to the Guyanese people.
Preparatory works are moving apace for the first ever Agri-Investment Forum and Expo, which is set to open at the Arthur Chung Conference Center from May 19 to 21. Minister Zulfikar Mustafa on Monday engaged the members of the planning committee. On the judicial front, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Senior Counsel Mohabir Anil Nandlal says government's restorative justice model will bring about significant changes in communities. Speaking at the meeting in Anna Regina, Region 2, Minister Nandlal highlighted that restorative justice has a twofold purpose.
Restorative justice also deals with bringing the victim and the perpetrator together. Bringing them together and working with them, talking out the issues, see if they can forgive each other, see if they can interact, they can continue to engage, get an apology, get remorse. That extinguishes the hate, the anger, the ill feeling. It dissipates it.
A total of $4.7 billion has been allocated in this year's budget to further strengthen the justice sector in Guyana. Some 350 women will receive business training through the Women's Innovation and Investment Network, WIN. Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, said the next step is for women to develop their own niche in the market.
Today comes the next step. And why do I say that? Because when WIN was conceptualized, I wanted to ensure that there was a comprehensive framework that you could, on your own, take advantage of so that you could climb every rung of that framework and ensure that at the end of it, you were in a better place than you started off.
Upon completing the workshop, participants will receive a certificate from the ministry. Prime Minister, Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, on Tuesday said parliamentary procedure is the foundation of upholding the country's democracy. PM Phillips said the sessions will provide critical capacity building for legislators, overseers and representatives of all aspects of the nation's democracy.
We must also ensure that our parliamentarians and clerks operate with distinction as we conduct the Assembly's business administratively, financially, and procedurally.
Meanwhile, thousands of residents in Bath Settlement, Region 5, will soon be able to travel with ease as two main access roads are set to be upgraded to the tune of $55.2 million. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Darmlal, said this exercise forms part of the government's commitment to being open and transparent with the public.
We are hopeful that despite the rains, that we'll be able to complete these projects very soon, these projects are going to alleviate the movement of our people in and out of these villages. Hopefully by early next week we will start mobilizing and construction will begin. The minister also handed over the first tranche of subvention to the region's 10 neighborhood democratic councils. Each received $2.5 million. Meanwhile,
$42.5 million was also handed over to 18 NDCs in Region 4. Some 14 neighborhood democratic councils in Region 3 also collected a total of $35 million in subvention.
President Ali is very serious about community development. As a matter of fact, all the investments that his government is making really is for the upliftment of our communities. And even whilst we are building these superhighways, we also have to fix the little problems that people have.
In the health sector, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony received 2 solar drive refrigerators from UNICEF that will aid in the storage of COVID-19 and other vaccines. Minister Dr. Anthony voiced his appreciation for the donation, while noting that the ministry has also been in talks with UNICEF in relation to the country accessing therapeutics, in particular Paxlovid for COVID-19 patients.
We are very grateful for the effort, the help, and we want to make sure as we move forward, especially in the health sector, that we make it even more meaningful, even more impactful. And I think with the team that is in place now, we can structure that relationship.
The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation on Thursday held an appreciation ceremony for staff nurses as International Nurses Day was observed. Reminding nurses about the importance of the job, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony encouraged them to continue creating a friendly environment for patients and their families.
And very often, it's how you interact with people that you can either build them up or, you can make them more vulnerable.
A whopping $20 million will be invested in a modern recreational facility at Golden Grove Housing Scheme, East Bank Demerara. The project will be executed by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport in collaboration with the Ministry of Housing and Water.
We've been doing a lot of grounds over the last year and a half, and there's been a couple that we have really seen how it's made tremendous impact on the community. And on this one in particular, the concept that I'm going to float with you is basically we're going to have a short fence that's mesh, chain link, so you can see through. You can see kids, people in the community, they can see what's going on. A track going all the way around. Lights, so solar lights as well as electrical lights. So the solar lights are there all the time, but the electrical lights you can turn on and off for particular kind of activities or if anybody in the community needs it. And then in the center is where you can have your ball games. At the sides of the track is where you can have your things like your swings, but swings for adults, benches, your trees. So it's more along the lines of a recreational leisure park.
The project is expected to be completed by the end of the year. It forms part of the government's plan to provide safe spaces for citizens to engage in sports and other social activities. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, has reassured the Private Sector Commission that it remains a partner with government for national development.
My assurance to you today on behalf of His Excellency the President is that you have in this government a government that believes very strongly, unshakably, unflinchingly, and indeed unapologetically, a government that believes very strongly in the role of the private sector in the future of Guyana. And you have in this government a partner committed to ensuring a rapidly growing and a highly competitive, world-class, highly diversified economy in Guyana.
He said government is committed to building a resilient economy with emphasis on non-oil sectors. Heavy focus, he said, will be on agriculture, tourism and renewable energy, to name a few areas. At the launch of the US $40 million company, Pipe Coating Guyana Incorporated, Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Indar, said the recent passage of the local content legislation is paving the way for such businesses. The company is one of many that is tapping into the oil and gas industry here in Guyana and is expected to create some 450 jobs.
Here is it, a prime example of what local content and what the local content legislation is driving in Guyana. It is really delivering prosperity to everybody. But you cannot sit on your hands. It is not the time for that. Guyana, as you all know, I don't have to remind you all, we are on a place where we have what we call the largest economic growth projections. Nowhere else in the world you can find. 47.5% GDP rise in a single year.
Minister Indar said Guyana is moving in a direction that will ensure every Guyanese benefit from the oil and gas sector. As the United Nations has made a proposal to reduce the speed limit for urban roads from 50 kilometers per hour to 30 kilometers per hour, Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben committed to holding consultations with stakeholders.
We are indeed aware, of course, of the risk imposed by speeding on the road overall, and it's natural for us to identify that where the speed limits are lower and where speeding is less, that the question of fatalities and of injuries on the road, if there is an incident, those are much lower.
Minister Ben also disclosed that for 2021, the efforts by government have led to a huge reduction in road fatalities in over a decade. And that's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website, dpi.gov.gy, and our social media platforms. Godfrey Brooms is saying, stay safe and goodbye for now.